What's going on, 8th grade algebra class? How you guys doing? Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Today, we have 12.3 again. I wanted to give you guys 2 days. I know this is tough stuff, so if there are any questions, please comment on the video, whether it's the quiz or the notes. I get all the comments. Again, here's just some of the work that we were doing on Friday, but I also have just a quick update as far as it's not an update, but a quick couple of notes for completing the square. I did it on a whiteboard. Hopefully this works out for us, but here's what it looks like. The reason why we complete the square, I was thinking about this after my video Friday. The reason why we complete the square is to help factoring. Whenever we have a quadratic, right, those are our x squared functions. An easy way to factor is to complete the square, right? We know that because whatever that b over 2 term is, well, that just becomes the second part of our factor. I've got an example that I'll explain that in just a second. The second note that I want to make is this. It's going to ask for the zeros. What are the zeros of this function or the zeros of this quadratic? What they are is the x-intercepts. That's what the factors tell us. That's what the zeros tell us. It's this thing right here. So if we've got our fancy little graph, these boys right here are the zeros of this function. This is just a graph that I made up. These guys right here. It is important to know the x-intercepts, and that's what we've got right there. So this is, again, just a kind of generic quadratic formula. I don't even know what the formula is for this guy, but these are the zeros, right? These are what our factors and zeros. I'm writing factors and zeros. This is the kind of stuff that they tell us. Okay, let me do an example for you real quick. Hold on. Getting my pen out. Okay, so if I've got, let's say I'm working with x squared plus 8x. And I know it equals 0. So I'm trying to find the x-intercepts, right? I'm trying to find the zeros. Well, my c term here is going to be b over 2 squared. But my factor, when I get down to the bottom, it's going to be my variable. And it's going to be plus because I'm adding this second term. And it's going to be b over 2 in my variable. Now, I did a couple things really quickly. The reason why I know that's going to be b over 2 is because of our special patterns. I put those in the notes. Make sure you memorize them. And the reason why I know it's addition is because I'm adding it up here. Again, that's the special pattern. Okay, let me actually work this one out. So it's going to be x squared. I need this to rest my hand so I don't smudge it all up. X squared plus 8x plus b over 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16 equals 0. Now, just to show the whole factoring process, I am going to do my diamond problem. Okay. Again, I don't have a coefficient, so I don't need to put it back in, right? That's the AC method. So I could just do my diamond problem, and I'm going to get my factors. 1 plus 16, then 8 down here. What adds to 8 and multiplies to 16? 4 and 4. So I'm going to have x plus 4 squared. The reason I have that is because I've got 2 x plus 4 factors, which is the same as x plus 4 squared. Okay. Yep. b over 2 is 4. So now you can see the whole process. I got a couple others up my sleeve. Let's do a subtraction one just so you guys can see that I'm not crazy. And already, I know this is going to be x minus. So let's say x squared minus 9x. Okay, so now it's an odd number, so it's not going to be super pretty. X squared minus 9x plus 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. 4.5 times 4.5 is a number that I don't know off the top of my head. 25, 22, 0, 0, 2, 16, 18 times 5, 2. There's my decimal. 0 to 20.25. 20.25, but I already know because of the diamond problem that this could just be b over 2. But it's going to be minus 4.5 squared. Watch out. Okay. So I know that these are going to be my factors. And I know how to set it up. Okay. All right. Now, the other one that we were working with, hold on. Yes, by the way, this is the mystery machine. Da, 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 da. I've got all sorts of dorky stuff. But the other ones that we are working with is, what if we have something like x squared plus 4x minus 3. Well, what do we do in cases like this? What we need to do is remove our c term to the other side of the equation. Plus 3 plus 3. So we've got x squared plus 4x equals 3. I left a big old space for a reason. You'll see just temporarily. Because now I can complete the square. The only difference is I'll need to add the b over 2 squared to both sides of the equation. So my 4 over 2 squared, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides of the equation. Okay? But what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to factor this side and have it equal 7. So that's going to be x plus 2. Sorry, I promise you this is just allergies. It's not anything else. All the sniffling and whatever. So then what I'll do is I'll take the square root of both sides to get rid of this guy, because I'm solving for x, right? It's going to give me x plus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 7. We don't know the square root of 7. So I know x is going to equal negative 2, right? I subtract 2 from both sides, plus or minus square root of 7. Okay. Subtracted 2 from both sides. I cannot simplify this, so I'm going to leave it in my radical. Negative 2 plus minus square root of 7. Now, this is an actual number. I just don't know what it is. It's somewhere between 2 and 3. It's like 2.7 something. That's just a guess. But it is a point on our graph. So it'll be negative 2 plus 2.7 or whatever it is. That'll be one of our zeros. And then it'll be negative 2 minus that number. That'll be our other intercept. So let's say it is 2.7. So one of our factors is going to be negative 2 plus 2.7 is going to give us like positive 0.7. Then negative 2 minus 2.7 is going to give us minus 4.7 or something like that. So these are going to be the places where our graph crosses the x-axis. Hope this is making sense. Let me do another one where we'll get an actual number. Let's say minus, I'm going to have to do some math in my head real quick, so give me just a second. Okay, so let's say we've got minus 6x that's too easy. Minus 12. Let's say that. Okay. Again, we're going to try to, by completing the square, so I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Add 12. It's going to give us x squared minus 6x equals positive 12. But again, our b over 2 squared, negative 6 over 2, negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. Oh, tartar sauce, that's not what I wanted. So positive 9. Since I'm doing this in my head, please forgive me. Let's just say instead of 12, this is going to be 9. So negative x squared minus 6x minus 9 equals 0. Plus 9 equals 9. Okay, so now this is going to equal negative 3 divided by 2. I'm sorry, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides of my equation. This is going to give me x minus 3 squared, right? That's my b divided by 2 equals 18. That still didn't work. Oh well, we'll just have to go with it. Okay, now I take the square root of both sides. This is going to give me x minus 3 equals plus or minus, that's going to be 3 root 2. Right, because square root of 18 equals square root of 9 times 2, square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 18 equals square root of 9 times 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 2 is 2. And this is where we're going to get x equals positive 3 plus or minus the square root of, plus or minus 3 root 2. Alright guys, hope this helped. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I haven't heard from you guys, so I hope you guys are following along. Otherwise, I love you very much. Bye.